official campus magazine of CEG, Basic and Staff. We have a few questions about the placements and other stuff. Tell us about your firm, like how it started, or what is the nature of work that you are carrying out there.
So this is about servicing the IT needs of our own organization. So we are from IT delivery center, and the work that we do is to take care of the IT needs of the business. So more and more IT is becoming an enabler for business to do better with the growth in technology that we have. A lot of business enablement is happening through IT. So our company does IT work for our own internal needs.
Yeah, so far one round of interview is over in our campus, I guess. So what do you feel about it? How competitive are the students? What did you infer from their performance?
Okay, so I'll answer that more from a standardization perspective, right? So our company, we've taken a stance to only go to colleges which have a background or a knowledge of stuff within the curriculum, right? So from that benchmarking standpoint, certainly, the campus that we're visiting here today stands one of the top campuses. This year especially, we've covered the length and breadth of India. We've visited about 10 to 12 campuses, and we find the quality optimum in terms of what it is. So there would be a little bit of here and there churn in terms of the ups and downs from the date of placement that we get. So I believe that we've got a date which is far more, latter towards the placement season, but that doesn't undermine, the quality of the students available, right? So I would still benchmark it as one of the top-notch colleges that I would probably want to visit in the coming years as well.
If a person has to get placed in your company, what are the skills that he or she should possess?
So specifically in a company like ours, we're a global network of community. So we have a lot of people working in-house and across different sectors, different cultures, different backgrounds and stuff of that sort. So what we look at is, of course, a competency in terms of what they've studied in a curriculum base. We also test them on a general knowledge optimum test levels, which is followed by probably every company today as an eliminator. But for us, what matters more and what is required is the collaborative piece, okay, and the relationship piece. So interviews are usually, for somebody with a working profession, is usually divided into behavioral and competency-based interview. Okay, but here in the campus, because we don't want to make it so elaborate, we've combined both into one. But what we're looking at is how a person can influence, talk, collaborate with people. How can he build relationships? What talent he or she is having at the moment. Okay, through projects work, through derivatives. We ask more on real life scenarios and questions rather than more of technical oriented stuff. Because we believe technicality is already taught by the college and the curriculum. And furthermore, we have training programs and curriculums on the job trainings for the individual to develop. But the softer aspect of it is what we more focus on, right? Culture fitment and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think collaboration and communication are the key that you're looking for. I mean, when we talk about technical things, the projects that you do, are you able to explain your own projects in depth? Do you have an understanding? So typically what happens is you may be 3 or 4 members working on a project. Okay, you may be doing, somebody is doing the front end, somebody is doing the back end, somebody is doing integration. But do you have a good understanding of the whole solution? So you may not be delivering it, but do you have an understanding? Are you able to communicate it? Are you able to collaborate? Because more and more the work is done, you will, in the corporate world, you will work with people whom you will never meet. Most of them is probably a voice or a video conference face that you see. That's the nature of the technology. So it's about analytical skills, it's about communication and collaboration.
An IT-based firm, as you said in the introduction. But why are you not preferring students from other departments? Is it really like the job is really hardcore software one? Is it difficult for other department students to compete and sustain in your environment?
Okay, so this is a very common question I get, right? So today, engineering is a base, is what we take, and a lot of companies do diversification of work. They take an engineer and they train them, okay? Specifically, these are companies which hire a lot of people, right? The volume-based business. But in our IT solutioning, we are not an IT company by itself. We are an enabler to our business. So which means the focus of work in IT is very minuscule. And the nature of work that we do also may not be cutting edge technology. It's not like, we're trying to invent the next Fitbit or the next iPhone or the next big software of sorts. Said and done, our stance on why we're not looking at people from different backgrounds, because we believe, and we thought from a student's perspective, somebody who's invested last 4 years of his time trying to do, let's say, a specialization of sorts, right? It's well thought through that, right? Because that's probably, his or her ambition or his or her interest of sorts, right? Now, if I take somebody who's invested last 4 or 5 years and I put them into something that they're not interested in, and we thought, what's going to happen then? Maybe I, as a company, don't have so much of work to diversify and tell them, hey, after that, you can probably choose what you like. I do have work related to IT maybe, or related to business stuff, but it will be the underlying stuff of IT, right? So we thought, let's not diversify it too much, okay? Because 2 years down the line, if somebody wants to develop a code in IT, I still have an IT engineer with basics, and I can let them develop. Rather than somebody from, the core branches who may not want to do, or may feel that, what am I doing in an IT related role, whereas my code is mechanical or code is a chemical and stuff of that sort. It happens today, but that is the stance. One is because we don't want to diversify and we don't have too many options or volume to hire for.
What are the opportunities for professional development in your company? Like a person is working in your company for nearly 4 to 5 years and he's getting out after that. So he might have been something when he entered your company, and how your company will mold him, and what are the experiences he will get, or what are the platforms he will get in your company?
Okay. So again, there are two parts to this. So one is the fresher part, which we hire from campuses, and one is, of course, the experience part. For the freshers, we have a training curriculum that's built in for 24 months. So once the person comes in, the first thing that we do is we do an orientation with the person. So we teach our cultures, we teach the values of the company, we teach what is the core into importance that we bring to an individual, and then we put them into a campus to corporate training program, which is for 2 months. Right? A software side of an individual is developed there, and then the person is allocated in terms of the role that he or she was assigned, and an on-the-job training is devised for that individual for the next 18 odd months. Now, what happens in the 18 odd months is a constant checkpoint is driven by the line manager, who acts like a coach, by the hiring manager, who is probably one level above the line manager, okay, who is the leader of that particular LOB or business of sorts, and a constant interaction happens. Now, this is purely feedback for the training that the person is doing on the job. Apart from that, there's a lot of other initiatives that the person is exposed to, or the group of individuals who join as freshers are exposed to, like diversity and inclusion. It's one of our creams. Right? We practice in a very fair culture, we practice in an equal opportunity employer, and we practice in a very diverse and inclusive environment. So how do you train an individual? Right? We practice in leadership, fishbowl exercises. So if any leader is visiting our hub or our office, these people are exposed, to the leadership talks, to leadership circles of motivation. Not only do they hear from us, we also try to hear from them. Like building a generation. So in 2016 was the first time that all the 5 generations came to work together. It was history by itself. So we're a company with a massive history, and the new blood or the new generation that comes in will feel the need for collaboration from them, with them, as well as learning from them as well. So this is how we do it. For the other individuals who are experienced people, who join us as experienced professionals, also there is a similar program. But those are more towards an online training curriculum, developmental programs, charted out by, the hiring managers or the line managers as individuals. But for a fresher, it's more curriculum-wise, and it's more set in terms of pegs. That's how it is.
In what way your company is different from other companies? Like your opinion, specifically your opinion. And what are your strengths? Which are the things you consider to be your strengths or your company's strengths?
Okay.
That will make it stand out from all the other companies.
So from I'd say that the biggest this one is IT we're not an IT company. Okay, so for us, bread and butter is not IT. We don't make money because of IT, but we enable the company to make money because of IT. So the strong sense of what we deliver as a business value is something that's driven very strongly amongst all our IT people. The second is from a culture point of view, in the sense that we truly believe that we are making a difference to the world. Okay, and that is something that culturally is kind of I would say that permeated into each and every employee, that you feel proud of the company that you work for, and also it's about respect for the individuals, and that we are all, each one of us is different, and we truly believe in that. So we talked about diversity and inclusion earlier. So diversity and inclusion, respect for the individual, and a sense of being driven by business values is what makes us unique.
Yeah. And if I add one more, we are in a business where safety is a very important parameter for us. So dissipating the safety culture for anybody who joins us from outside is one of our core strengths as well. Right? In addition to what Raghu said, this is another core value of us, and that's where we stand out from some of the other companies in our values and beliefs.
Nowadays, there is a more emphasis on interpersonal skills. So, to what extent you think they decide your success, or is it anything like maybe academical skills will help you to be successful in your life, or your career issues?
It's a difficult question, but how will I put it across? I wouldn't separate both. It's like your left eye and your right eye, right? You need both, right? If you have just one, you may lack in the other. But I can't stop from emphasizing how interpersonal skills play a major role, and that's what we answered. Your first question was what we look at in an individual, right? I would say, if I have to put it from my own terminologies, my own perspective, I'd probably give the interpersonal skills, the communication skills, the ability to build relationships, to work with individuals over a voice, to be able to understand what that customer wants and deliver slightly higher in comparative to your technical skills. Of course, if you only have that, then you will be floundering, how to do it. But then a combination of both is really, really essential. But the latter stands out, slightly higher. Because again, if you're really, really a technical person, but you do not know how to understand what your customer wants, it's again a little. So it's a balance between both. But in my point of view, I think the latter stands a little more, higher in weightage compared to both.
I'd kind of add to that to say that the nature of the work is changing. Okay, so today collaboration is no longer a differentiator, but rather it's something that is required as a fundamental skill. Okay, so the way the connectivity is, the way the work is distributed, the way the technology is moving, collaboration is a absolute key, and collaboration happens when you have interpersonal skills, and the more people that you know, the more stakeholders that you manage, better is what leads to success.
You might have interviewed many people. So, what is the out-of-box review you have got for one particular question? Any such experiences that you have? You might have asked a question, they might have answered it completely differently. You might have felt like, you might have impressed even. So, if any incident like that had happened.
So, the thing that we always see in interviews is everything is very perfect. People do not generally talk about the mistakes that they made. And I get impressed when I get an answer when people are genuine enough to say that, not everything is a success. I actually goofed up.
You have talked about the training programs for freshers. So how difficult it is to train them? Or do you think the college has to take some responsibilities, or they have to put in some efforts while they are actually graduating, before they are graduating, so that it will be easy for you when they come to you? It will be easy for you to train them. You want the college to do any such efforts?
I think we're having this conversation coincidentally in the morning while driving to your campus. And I think it's really important, especially with legacy colleges or legacy institutions, it kind of is difficult to change working ways because you have an established way of working. You have multiple levels of approvals, multiple levels of intervention from board or intervention from other bodies to change things. But today, I've been to also colleges which are probably new, the so-called private institutions which have grown. It's easier for them to do it. And a lot of effort is done in terms of trying to mold the person in the last 1 or 2 semesters, getting them ready for placements, rather than focusing on the scores. Because the scores is a give or take, right? Everybody knows, scores can only, everybody probably scores between, a very small margin, right? But what makes you stand out is you being ready for that particular, interview or internships, or talks, or attending those industrial visits makes you stand out because you know the market, right? And it's also, when we're interviewing people and when we ask somebody a question about, the X company or any other competitor, and somebody has the potential, or the knowledge of it to just put up a, hand and answer, it's kind of impressive because the kind of person, is connected to the industry. So it's really important, I think, the college to invest. There are some colleges who do it, there are some colleges who have a long way to go in terms of doing it, but it's really, really important, I think. Right? Your thought?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, today I think it is about if we are talking about technology. If you go to any organization, people will talk about Internet of Things, cloud, security, analytics, machine learning, artificial intelligence. So irrespective of whichever industry that you are looking at, IT from that point of view, these are 6 or 7 technology areas that most of the organizations would look for. Do you have an understanding of that? So do you have an understanding of the application of technology? The biggest gap between an academia and industry is that at the end of the day, in the industry, you have to apply the technology. So do you have an understanding of the application of the technology? That is probably an area where the curriculum could be molded, or the institutions can take some more steps to better prepare the students. Don't try to be what you are not. Again, prepare.
Of association with CUIC and MIT, and there are a lot of our, even yesterday we had a senior vice president who's alumnus of CUIC, who came here yesterday to deliver the pre-placement talk. And we have a president in Wipro who is an alumni of CUIC, right? So we've been having a very long association with Kannah University and the colleges here, and we've been hiring a lot of people over the years. Students are generally averse to programming. That's what I could understand from most of the kids. Programming is not something which is difficult to pick up, right? Today, unfortunately, as I said, technologies are evolving and the disruptions are happening so fast. So where our expectations is students should have a basic program, right? But at students level, what I could understand from yesterday and today meeting so many people is they feel programming is difficult, or they have an aversion for that. I'm more dealing with CS and IT students. All other students feel programming is something which is not so good, right? So that is surprising. For people who are able to compete and come to this level, studying CEG or MIT itself is a big achievement to me, or to me. Overall itself, it's a great thing that they have done to reach here, right? For them, picking up programming, I don't think is such a big challenge. So that aversion has to go, and people will have to look at that also as a thing and learn and do well. That's all I would say. So, but definitely the students are good, competitive, all those things. I don't see a challenge. But somehow the aversion for programming is something, what has happened over the years is the expectations from companies like us on engineers is increasing. One reason is our customer expectations are increasing. So for us to meet our customer expectations, we need better people. So if you look at salaries, for example, right? Even we've been hiring this turbo hiring for last 3 years. Where we pay around, this year we are paying 6.5 lakh salary for a fresher, right? The average salary for engineering is still 3.5. We want to pay this difference because we want better people to come in, right? So since we are paying 6.5 lakhs, naturally I would expect these engineers to be a notch higher than the people whom I have at 3.5 lakhs, right? So that expectation will be there and students will have to raise up. The basics are right, the foundation is good. The only thing is they need to pick up this programming which will help them and help us also in the journey.
So what are some key criteria that you would expect from a student?
There is no key case. 2-3 things what we fundamentally look for, right? So one is programming skills, as I said. The next is problem solving. Third is communication, right? And fourth could be their own subject knowledge. What they have studied, they should be good in whatever they have studied, right? So these are the 4 elements which we really look for. And of course, on top of it, there should be a positive attitude, right? So these are the 4-5 things which we look for. If you have the most essential thing, programming with communication skills. Other things will be part, your problem solving, but other things will be part of these 2 things. So if they get good programmers along with good communication skills, that will be the right combination for us to look for.
So how did the VLSI team of the Wipro play a role in recruiting the students of our campus?
VLSI team, is one division for which we hire people. Okay. And the good thing is we are one of the largest across the world in VLSI. Right? What it means is a great opportunity for electronics and communication students, where they'll have a good opportunity to work on hardware related. And Wipro is the largest player in the semiconductor hardware industry. Right? We have more than 1,000 people working on VLSI. That's a great opportunity for the students to work in that domain. So what it means is they will be working on closer to what they have studied. Okay. So that's a great opportunity, and for us also, we are always looking for people in that domain, because we are the largest player and that domain is doing well for us. Right? So for example, one VLSI, one interesting work we are doing is, we are trying to help the organizing team of the Olympics next year in Tokyo. So we are doing a lot of work around VLSI for the organizing of the Olympics, Tokyo Olympics, which is happening in 2020. So we are doing a lot of work for that in VLSI, designing some chips and other things. So it's an exciting domain, and Wipro is a big player there, and it's a good opportunity for electronics students.
So why do you think a person should choose your company than over another company?
Good question. See, each company has its own USP in terms of Wipro as an organization. 3-4 things I definitely like to highlight. One is, of course, it's a company with a very long history. I said 1945 we started. So more than 70 years this company has been there, and it's been successful as well. Right? That's number one. Second is, you work in Wipro, you directly contribute to India, right? Because our chairman, Mr. Premji, is one of the largest philanthropists in this country. So, and he is the largest shareholder also in Wipro. Right? The profits Wipro makes, directly he contributes 40% of it to the education initiatives in the country. Right? So you work in Wipro, you contribute to society. And then also a lot of other avenues like Wipro Cares, Wipro Applying Thought in Schools, Wipro Foundation. So there are multiple things which we do for country at large, and I see a lot of NSS and other activities happening in your campus. So, Wipro as an organization will give you a lot of avenues to continue those kind of social initiatives, giving it back to society. That's number 2. Third is, we are the world's most ethical organization. We have been getting an award for the last 7 years, as world's most ethical organization. So a student with a value system like Kannah or MIT or a CUIC, you will associate Wipro more because we are a very, very ethical organization. So the values there will coincide. So that's a great opportunity again. 4 is, of course, the kind of customers with whom you go. I said we have around 1,200 customers. So a great opportunity to work with some of the best. Some of them who come here for the recruitment, you may not have got recruited there. Say a Microsoft or an Apple or a Google or a Samsung, all are Wipro's customers.
Yeah.
Right? So an opportunity to work with some of the best customers. Right? And of course, it's a technology company. So people who want to do associate with technology work, we are the largest third-party R&D services provider in the world. Right? So technology spread wide opportunities to work in different domains, technologies. And the last thing is, of course, the kind of learning opportunities what you have. It's very important that the first job you should have a strong foundation. So from that perspective, Wipro can provide the right environment or a platform or a launch pad, wherein you can spearhead your career. And of course, we are spread across different countries, global organization, diversified population. We work with different customers, different countries. So that's a great opportunity.
So what do you think are some common mistakes that students make during the interview process?
The common mistakes is they don't research well about the organization, right? So it's a basic thing today with the kind of technology and available scope for learning. So there are opportunities for people to know more about Wipro than what I know. I've been there for 18 years, but still there is an opportunity for Janani to understand Wipro if she really wants to. Right? There's so much of scope today. But I don't see students doing enough homework in terms of the organization or in terms of the work that happens or the culture. Or yesterday we had an opportunity to give the students an opportunity to ask questions. Right? But unfortunately we didn't have not too many questions yesterday. So students are not researching enough or not doing homework, going to the website and other things and trying to understand the company. That's one. And second, this is aversion towards programming, which I already spoke.
So which part of the resume do you think plays an important role?
It's my simple philosophy on resume, I think, is whatever is there in the resume, you should be able to justify that. You shouldn't just add something for the flavor of it, without able to supplement it. Right? So that's my fundamental thing. Whatever should be, you should be honest on that. You shouldn't give any data which is wrong. And whatever is given, you should be able to substantiate. That's my philosophy.
What is the best reply that you have received for a good question, like an out-of-box reply for any question that is asked? So the questions generally impress you. Any kind of answers?
You meet so many people and so many questions, so it's really tough to say one is the best, right? But for me, anything people asking questions itself is a great thing. What I find in this part of the thing is people don't ask questions. They keep it to themselves. That's all. So they don't ask anybody, even they have the capability and other things, but they somehow shy, maybe. They don't come out of that silo where they ask questions itself. So that's what I would say.
So we also want to know about the off-campus placements. Like, is there any information you could provide on that?
Off-campus, anytime you can register in our website, right? But it will be more for the generic, the turbo kind of a thing we may not, because it's more limited to a particular college, we will not do an off-campus. But for a normal engineer, you can apply as a normal engineer any point of time in our careers development.